We have finally pulled into the station on Friday, baby. Got some more football tonight. Had some great games on last night. Well, really in college, the NFL game went a lot of fun. We're going to get to the Tua Tagovailoa thing. But before we do, hit that subscribe button.
And hit that like button.
Flaming Dragon,
yes.
You are the commissioner of an EA Sports college football dynasty.
The dynasty.
And y'all, there was something that went down. Can you please just explain to people what happened?
So obviously there's rules and regulations.
Yes.
In the dynasty.
A lot of bureaucracy.
Is you can't restart a game because you're either losing or someone got hurt. And we had a dynasty member, he who not be named, went to trial yesterday because I got on. As the commissioner of the dynasty and looked. He was Penn State versus Florida, a ranked Florida team, and he restarted his game 3 times. Three times. And I found this out at 10:30 last night, so he was immediately called in to the party with his lawyer, also known as Mr. Whiskers, and our lawyer, also known as Vicky Diesel, all right, for the dynasty. I am the judge. We went over it. At first, he lied through.
Oh, he tried to sneak.
What did he say?
To sneak the whole
did he say someone hacked his Instagram live?
Game and said it was a glitch. So what I did, I went through every single week of the dynasty to see if it did it for anybody else. It did not. All right. Sooner or later, we got the truth out of him. All right. His quarterback broke his ankle the first game, so he quit.
How long did it take to get the truth out of him?
45 minutes.
Wow.
45 minutes.
Really?
In the second game, his quarterback broke his fibula, and he quit. In the third game, he played it, so automatically that is a forced loss, and shame on you.
And can you sit his quarterback for the rest of the games, too?
No, his quarterback's still hurt.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so now he's getting a forced loss, and his quarterback's hurt for 14 weeks.
You guys run a tight ship over there. I got to give you credit.
Yeah, welcome to China.
Can you send me?
They call me the supreme leader.
They all clap when he comes up like this.
Can you send me Mr. Whiskers' number? I might need him later in the
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the Saul Goodman of their thing. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa gets knocked out of another game. Arizona State fights back against Texas State. We're going to break down the keys to victory for Week 3 matchups in college football, and Auburn has a new starting quarterback. Rejoice!
Yes!
I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to the Friday edition, the Flaming Dragon edition. Crain & Company. He's a dragon. The hardest thing to tell a competitor is that it's time to stop competing. But sometimes the benefit of continuing to play doesn't outweigh the risk associated with it, especially in the sport of football. Tua has achieved more than 99.99% of athletes ever will. He won it all at the highest level of college football at Alabama and has become a household name at the highest level of football in general, being a quarterback in the NFL. But after another traumatic injury last night against the Bills, and once again, it being to his brain and head area, man, it's probably time to hang this thing up. This will ultimately be his decision, and it should be. But life is about more than sports at the end of the day. It's about being around to enjoy all the little and big things that life has to offer, whether it be with family or whether it be with friends. It's about having a quality of life that doesn't prevent you from enjoying the spoils of all you have worked for and achieved. And with the advances in medicine and technology, we know what football does to your brain over time, especially at this level. It turns young people into old people rapidly, both mentally and physically. It turns sharp people into unrecognizable tantrum-throwing individuals who sometimes, unfortunately, commit heinous acts to themselves and others. To put it plainly, it just isn't worth it. Tua's accomplished so much, and this doesn't make him soft, it makes him smart. He's used his platform to help people, and now it's time to help himself. My father didn't play nearly as long in the league as Tua did, but I still remember watching him struggle to even get out of bed because his body was so badly beat up. I watched him deteriorate mentally and use unhealthy means to cope with the pain. There's no telling how far along the damage already is for Tua and what the repercussions will already be, even if he stops playing today. Only he can decide. He's a grown man. But for the sake of not only himself, but for the people around him, I hope he hangs it up. Because there are other ways to compete. But if you aren't around at all, there is no competition, only despair. I'm going to bring in co-host former Michigan quarterback David Cohn. And on a lighter note, it's Friday.
Weird transition.
Yeah, on a lighter note.
It's a dragon!
Yeah, talk about people. Yeah, talk about mental sharpness. This guy thinks he's a dragon.
Perfection.
What's the over?
We're going for perfection.
Let's go.
Wait, it's
I'm back
a zero.
in town.
It's 0.5.
I'm back in town. Let's go.
One mistake.
All right. If you don't know, if you just joined us, welcome in. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for hopping on. We cannot say his legal name. We only can refer to him as Flaming Dragon, or my personal favorite, Flaming. David, back to a serious note, though. Again, tough segue here. Tua, if you're with him right now, I know there's discussion. Antonio Pierce has come out and told ESPN if he was the coach, he'd be like, dude, you need to retire. Where are you at right now?
First off, prayers up for Tua, and him getting hit by DeMar Hamlin. That's a perfect indication of everything that 2024
irony
represents. I think feels a little bit like deja vu, right? Wasn't it 2 years ago we were sitting on the set saying the same thing? Like, it's time for Tua to retire. The people closest to him need to talk to him. Then he comes out last year and throws for 4,600 yards and 26 touchdowns. Man, I was so happy for him. Stayed healthy the entire season. Still one of my favorite players to come through college. One of the best slant ball throwers that I've ever seen in my life. In terms of should the people near him, his family and the coaches, should they get around and talk to him and talk him out of playing football? I think that only depends on what the medical professionals say. Like, the family should talk to him only if the medical professionals come and say, Tua, you're going to do long-term damage to your body if you continue to play, and he refuses. Maybe that's where the family should step in, because I'm assuming that not everyone in his family are medical professionals and know what's best. I will say this, though. This is a violent sport. Not just physical. It's not a contact sport. I've had a doctor tell me one time, football's not a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. This is a violent game. All of us who have played it in any capacity will suffer from some sort of consequences for our entire lives. You don't need to have played professionally, but you talked about your father. I see my father-in-law. I see what 11 years in the league did to him, and that was when men were playing, and that's when the game was as violent and physical as it could be. I want to make sure that we don't soften the game up over time just so people can play professionally for longer. That's not the point of the game. I understand it's difficult to see that sometimes when you're using the game to provide for your family. And the last thing I want to talk about is just the identity. For a lot of us, myself included, playing football, being a football player was part of my identity. Mm-hmm. So when you're no longer a football player, a big part of your identity is gone, man, and it hurts. And I was lost for a while with that. I encourage everyone listening, this isn't so much for Tua as it is for a lot of young people who really want to play the sport and grow with the sport. You know, don't tie your identity to being a football player. Use it to have more success in life in the long run of life. Use everything that the game offers so that you can have even a more successful life. The discipline that comes with the game, learning punctuality, learning how to be a good teammate, learning how to win and lose with the same sort of confidence and with the same professionalism. That's what's so great about the game, not necessarily having a 15-year career where you can be a multimillionaire.
Very well said. Flaming Dragon, you know, if this was the first time you get knocked out, or, you know, it's scary and you know, you do get worried. But I almost feel like this is kind of an anomaly. Tua threw a game-winning touchdown pass in a national championship game. He's been a starting quarterback in the NFL. But when you say Tua Tagovailoa, you know what most people think of? Catastrophic injuries.
Yeah, and it sucks because watching, for one, Tua is just a phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
In general. I mean, if you look at Tua, that you hardly never see not see a smile on the guy's face. Watch him in Alabama. His career has been phenomenal. But life's more important than football. Like, I promise you right now. And I know with the money that comes along with football, you want to take care of your family and all this, but I promise you right now.
He can do that.
Yeah, I would rather have my father than a bunch of money. And I think at this point, Tua, and I think if the NFL has to step in, they need to, buddy. It's time. Your brain's not going to be getting better if you keep getting hit like this. Like, you can talk about identity all you want. It's going to get to the point to where you're not going to know who you are. Like, I've seen this with my eyes. It's not a funny thing. It's not a game, buddy. This is your life. Football is here, and your life is here, and so is your family. You want to have these memories growing up of seeing your kids, your nieces, your nephews, and sooner or later, man, it sucks, and we all know it, and we hate to see it for you, but you got to hang it up.
Yeah, and I agree with 90% of what you said. I just want to make sure people understand. I'm saying that this is his decision to me.
Yeah.
I don't think the NFL should tell him. His family's going to. He is a grown man. I am a firm believer in the individual gets to decide that individual's fate. And so I want to make sure it's going to be his decision. But I feel like Tua is a smart enough guy to know the people who really care about him, the people who want what's best for him. And when they tell him what they truly feel, and again, I'm not speaking as if I know any of his family members or anything, but I know what I would say if it was you.
Yeah.
And this was on here. I know what you would say if it was me. I'd come and sit down in the room and say, I'd shut the door and be like, well, either one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to hang this up, or you're going to have to really, really explain to me why I'm going to sit here and just keep watching you do this to yourself. And then we see all these awful stories of guys that get done playing in the NFL and just something crazy happens. And then we see stories of guys who play a little bit in the NFL and have success. You look at a guy like Andrew Luck. It's like, you know what, man, I'm done with this. And it's just it's a tough situation, man. I don't wish it on anybody. We want to play the clip of this hit, and you can just see, and the arms will always tell you when it's especially awful when it comes down to concussions. Watch Tua's arms, and this is like a replay of it. We've seen this happen to him before. Let's go and run this clip of the game last night, 4th and 4, when Tua, went down. Let's play it.
You're down by 21 points, 4th and 4. Pressure. Tua steps up. He's going to run for the first down. And takes a shot at the 6-yard line. Hamlin hit him, and Tua down.
God. And you know what? It wasn't like, that wasn't dirty by DeMar.
Oh.
That wasn't a leading and a trying to really take a guy out. You got caught in a bad spot. And when you get concussed, and doctors will tell you this, it increases your likelihood of getting more and more and more and more. And just in this sport, I just don't know how you're going to be able to continue at this rate and expect to be anything close to functional as you get older. So prayers up for Tua, man, and I hope, they figure it out and make the decision that's best for them. But I think I know what I'd decide. But if you're having to decide where you want to bet on sports or really politics or anything, maybe you have other sports books. Let me tell you about betonline.ag. You need to add it to your repertoire. And if you go there right now, that's betonline.ag. It's not .org, not .com, it's .ag. And use promo code BOOSTER. You get a 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250. They have all the spreads from TTPs to player props, NFL, Major League Baseball, ice fishing, igloo hopping, whatever. It's going to be on there. It's a website that's really easy to navigate. The payouts are versatile. Whether you want check, whether you want on the card, they have an answer for you, and it's timely, and it gives you peace of mind. Whether you win or lose, they're going to treat you right. So head on over to betonline.ag. Use promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. Bet Online, where the options are endless, and so is the fun. That's who we're using for our locks, leans, and dogs we're going to give you at the end of the show. So head on over to betonline.ag and get some of that free money with that promo code BOOSTER. It's a great website. You'll have a lot of fun with it. I threw a little parlay out yesterday that I still feel pretty good about if you want to go check that out on social. But hit that subscribe button. We're going to have the phone lines open at 2:45 p.m. Central, 1-855-236-3228. Want to get to the Booster Club here quickly, and then we got to get into some college football. There's a ton going on.
Hit that like and hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. And while you're at it, go and hit that notifications button, too, while you're out there. We're going to start it off with the dog. It says Tua needs to take care of himself. He has more than enough money to walk away forever. It's time for him to think about his family.
I agree with that, again, from the outside looking in, but with some sort of expertise, which we all have, having played this sport and having family members close to us that played the sport for longer than we did at a higher level, man, sometimes, and it's so hard to tell a guy to stop playing. Mm-hmm. Like I think the identity thing that you brought up, David, was the best because, again, you are attached to, I'm this big, bad football player. I'm Tua, the starting quarterback of the Dolphins. Not that he's an egotistical guy, but, that does drive you. We all have some semblance of an ego. So, man, it's tough, but, sometimes the best decision is the toughest one.
And that identity crisis only gets exacerbated when it becomes your profession. And you can say, like, oh, well, he signed that big guaranteed contract. He has more than enough money to retire. You're still telling a 25-year-old who's dedicated his entire existence to playing this game, you can't do that anymore. And it's just an ultimate truth that all of us, at some
and
point, all of us
simulate playing that game. No. The excitement and being on the field, it's impossible to simulate. You can't even simulate it in practice. So it's, man, it's tough.
I wonder what Troy Aikman's going to come out and say, because Troy Aikman dealt with something like this. Troy Aikman dealt with a lot of concussions. I think ended his.
Well, I wonder how many high-level quarterbacks have reached out.
Yeah.
Even not even quarterbacks. Antonio Pierce, head coach of the Raiders, mentioned it. I thought Mike McDaniel had a really good answer to it yesterday. So I'm sure people are reaching out and giving them their opinion.
Let's go to Lyndon J. He says, it's funny to me why Tua wasn't wearing the mushroom cap.
If there was ever a guy that needed it, it may be ugly. And now, would that have stopped that completely? It may have lessened it. Who knows? I'm not a guardian capologist. I don't know exactly how much of the collision it takes away, but it's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Let's go to the Miami man. He says, we all hate it for Tua, but after that performance on defense, as a Miami fan, we're going to be in trouble this year.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when you turn the ball over the way that they did. And Josh Allen and them really didn't have to do too much offensively. Shout out to James Cook for that first touchdown score, by the way.
Nice
Hit
bet.
that one at plus 1,100. That's going to make for a nice dinner on the
Yeah,
town.
cool, dude. We're all excited about it. Sweet congrats.
Yeah.
You hit like 100 of
Yeah,
those
Flaming
things.
Dragon
Cool.
I could feel he was kind of pissed when I put it in the group
How you
chat.
get beat by the running back?
Yeah, he was. Okay, good. Now it's, I know I was right, because he's hit a ton of touchdown scores, and I will give him his props. When I put that in the group chat last night, I could feel a little bit of hate from the Dragon.
No, there's no hate. Happy for it. I'll never be upset about you winning money. I just got a little bit of a different odds situation on my side.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what pissed me off the most.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the fam. Says, fellas, that goes for any sport, not just football.
Yep.
People need to realize that you are bigger than your sport.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done. You could say the same thing about any walk of life. Lawyers, right? Some people that are lawyers, that's their whole identity. I'm the district attorney, or I'm a prosecutor in this big city. We see it all the time.
Or U.S. Senator.
Or U.S. something, whatever.
Retire.
Like this is how, it's the human condition. It's how we are. Not saying that you shouldn't feel good about it or it shouldn't be important, but it doesn't define who you really are, because again, when you're laying on your deathbed, yeah, the memories of playing football will be great, but those don't need to be the memories that hit you first. It's the things I want to be able to, I'll play with my kids and be able to hold my kid above my shoulders and stuff like that. So it's a good point. All right,
Let's go to Walt. Walt, what's up? He says, every team needs to have a baseball player to come in and teach quarterbacks how to properly slide feet first. That's really not a bad idea.
No, it's not. I think Jaden Daniels needs one. He's got the ugliest slide I've ever seen. No, not a bad idea at all. But let's go ahead and move on, David. We gotta get in while the getting's good.
All right, we got some games to break down here with the keys to victory. But first things first, that Arizona State, Texas State game last night, one of the best football games of the season so
And we
far.
squad rode Arizona State.
Yes,
we did. They won that game, but not like I thought they would.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I thought Sam Levitt throwing the ball was going to be the catalyst.
He looked good.
For Arizona. Yeah, he did. He did look good. You had that one throw in the seam to the tight end who looked, I don't know if y'all noticed, their tight end, Meteor, whatever his name is, looks huge. Huge. And they're like, yeah, he's really excited about that guy. I was like, I didn't know who the hell this was. I'm excited about this guy. So it just goes to show you, first off, regardless of scheme or who played well, this Arizona State team's got guts, man. Because you got to. I've coached against Texas State at that stadium in San Marco. Like, it's a perfect size stadium for them. It was absolutely on fire last night. You saw some procedural penalties, but Arizona State's got guts, man. They hadn't trailed all year. You're down 21-7 in a tough environment on the road.
Couldn't get off the field on third down.
Couldn't get off the field on third down. McLeod was killing them. But they got guts, man. And Scadaboo, eventually over time, you saw gravity.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't like that guy, I don't know how you.
I think Cam Scadaboo is my favorite player in college football. Right?
Somebody told me he's from Aniana, Alabama.
Is he really?
So we need to look that up. Somebody messaged that to me. I was just had too much going on.
That out.
But watching Arizona State win that way, because they want to be downhill. And Dillingham doesn't really want to be a slow-paced team. I mean, he's a guy that wants to get out there and be balanced. But they're a downhill run team. And to Texas State's credit, they did take away the run a lot. And they said, all right, Sam Levitt, you're going to have to beat us. And he did. Jordan McLeod had a really good game. He threw that pick late, but he had like 4 touchdowns by the third quarter. One Sunbelt Player of the week before. But Arizona State, man, they got guts. Kenny Dillingham is ahead of schedule. I did not see them starting 3-0. I don't think Arizona State fans saw them starting 3-0. And you have a quarterback, at least right now, that you're looking to the future. Like, this guy's only going to get better. And, oh, boy, can run. Like, he could, legitimately run. So it was a hell of a game.
Man, good for them. All right, we got 2 really great games tonight. One is a ranked matchup. Kansas State going to host Arizona. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the week, but go ahead and give me some keys to victory here.
Well, the key to me, if you're Kansas State, it's going to be how well you play man coverage against this Arizona team that's had a lot of success against man coverage. I don't think Arizona's going to be able to line up. Their running backs out. I believe McCroskey's out for this game. It's going to have to be Fafita and McMillan. McMillan obviously against Northern Arizona last week didn't play great. But Kansas State, I think, is 43rd in the country in the amount of man coverage they run. I think Arizona's like 18th. I'm going to get to that. But if
Kansas State can man up and play defense at home. They return everybody in the secondary except one guy off of defense last year that was pretty good in the back end. And they're able to take away Fafita down the field to McMillan in man coverage, whether it's man free, whether it's two-man on third down, whatever. It's going to be hard for Arizona to move the ball. One thing I do want to caution bettors in this game, and who the hell knows what's going to happen. A lot of people look at Arizona and they say, well, you beat New Mexico 61-39. That means Kansas State's going to score a lot, but we know you're a big-time offensive team. We know Kansas State has had success on offense, even though they haven't asked Avery Johnson to do a lot. These teams are both in like the 120s in pace of play. So Brent Brennan from San Jose State, they were like 126 in the country last year and how fast they went. This is going to be a slower-paced game. Not saying the 60.5 won't hit or whatever it's at now, but I'd be very, very cautious before I just assumed that this over was going to hit because these two teams do not play fast. This game can probably go by really fast, even though Arizona's going to throw the ball a lot. So how Kansas State plays in man coverage, that's going to be the key to the game for me.
This guy definitely didn't take the over in that game, so now I'm feeling skeptical about a lot of things. My big key in this game, if Arizona wants to do one thing, they want to throw the ball deep. Mm-hmm. They want to push the ball down the field. And if you watch that Kansas State Tulane game, when Kansas State heated somebody up, Tulane up, they got there 90% of the time. I wouldn't be surprised from the pass rush and some zone blitzes from Kansas State if Fafita makes a couple of mistakes here. I do think you have to rely on your quarterback if you are Kansas State with Avery from the passing and the running game. They need to be better on third down. And I think those receivers are talented but need to have better feel in space. I do like the over in this game. I think they're going to be big plays after big plays, and the mistakes will be big mistakes, maybe a pick six or a fumble return. I don't know if the spread-wise, this is a tough game to bet. I like the over, but after what Jake said, we'll see. I'll go back and look at it. This is a tough game, man. I'm probably going to lean a little bit Arizona in this football.
Really, and David, I do want to say, too, Kansas State, and most teams, not all, play better at home than they do on the road. Defensively, Kansas State is a different team at home than they are on the road. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see that again in this game.
One more interesting thing to keep in mind here. This isn't a conference game.
No.
It's really weird because this got scheduled before Arizona joined the Big 12.
And Baylor and Utah is the other one, right?
Baylor and Utah is the other one.
Quote-unquote
but
Big 12
so this
game.
technically doesn't have in-conference implications, even in the tiebreak, which is unfathomable.
It's the first non-conference conference game I've ever seen.
You can say it. Kansas State, almost 500 yards of rushing in two games so far. I felt really good about them in this game before I saw what Flaming Dragon was talking about last week, because Mensah from Tulane, I mean, he was really...
He diced them.
He really did dice them, and I think that Noah Fafita is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I want to know, is Tet McMillan... Is he banged up? Is he injured?
Well, he had
300 yards week 1, 11 week 2. I don't know.
Look, they only scored 22 points, I believe, against
Northern Arizona
last week. And I don't care what you say to me, if they kept it bland or vanilla. Even if you're an Arizona team and you keep it vanilla, you should score more than 22. So which offense is going to show?
Well, not only that, Flaming Dragon, this Arizona team's been schizophrenic so far this year. 61-39 against New Mexico. And Dan Pierre's a good player for New Mexico, but they threw for like 300 and ran for like 220. Talking about New Mexico and Arizona. Then the next week, you play Northern Arizona and you beat them 22-10. So who are you? Like, who is Arizona? Are you this high-flying offense that's bad on defense? Or are you this just mediocre offense that can hit a couple big plays, that can play good defense and win low-scoring games? I don't know who Arizona. I know who Kansas State is, and the reason the run game works so well is because the quarterback's the threat in the run game. Fafita can move if he has to, but he's not going to run Q counter and Q power. He's not going to do what Avery Johnson does for Kansas State. He's a true runner of the football. So I think I know who Kansas State is. Arizona's been a little bit the like old boy from Split. Like 1 minute they're a British woman, the next they're a 3-year-old on a tricycle. So like I don't know who they are.
I think Kansas State is a little better positioned to win the football game at home, but I am surprised by the full touchdown spread.
Yeah, I like Kansas State at 6.5. We'll get to that in a bit.
All right, next one up here. We got another good matchup here on Friday night. This is Kansas hosting UNLV. Kansas 1-1 right now. UNLV 2-0.
You know, when we talked about Kansas in the offseason, I think maybe one thing that, and I'll speak for myself, I might have overlooked, and we talked about how this could affect Penn State, getting Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator from Kansas, to go to Penn State. And we're like, oh, well, Kansas hired Jeff Grimes. We know Jeff Grimes is a proven guy. You return Jaden Daniels. You've got an NFL running back. we kind of know Kansas was. You feel like the defense is getting better. But, I mean, when you've watched Jalen and this team play so far on offense, it hasn't really clicked. And then you go back and realize, hey, they lost 3 starters on the offensive line, and 2 of them were all conference. So, obviously, getting the new offensive coordinator, having to replace what they did on the offensive line, it's taken a little bit of time to get going. But they have really good players. I know Jaden Daniels turned the ball over too much against Illinois last week. And then you look at those numbers and you're like, man, Kansas, they must be able to really stop the run, which is actually what UNLV wants to do. There's very few teams that have a higher run rate than UNLV, and you think with this go-go offense, it's crazy and it's gimmicky. No, just like any smart offense, they want to get downhill and run the ball, and they've had success. But you look at Kansas, you're like, and they held Illinois to, 54 yards rushing or whatever. It's funny, Illinois wants to throw the ball. You go back and look. There wasn't a lot of attempts. So when you're looking at this game, UNLV wants to run it. They love to run it. That's who they are. Kansas, is it fool's gold that they were able to have success against the run against Illinois? Because if they stop the run, you stop UNLV. There's a reason that spread's where it is. Is this the game, though, where the replacements on the offensive line and Jeff Grimes being the OC and Jalen Daniels protecting the ball wins out? So the key in this game to me is whether Kansas can truly stop the run. Mm-hmm. They stop the run, and that's for anybody ever. But when you look at UNLV's run-to-pass splits and the rate that they run the ball, you stop the run, you stop them. So I'm going to be very interested to see if this Kansas defense can not only know what to do, but actually go out there and do it defensively.
How the hell do you only score 17 points with Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal?
Turnovers.
Offensive line?
How do you do that? I don't care who's calling the plays. That is actually tough to do against the Illinois team. I mean, sooner or later, regardless of the defense, I'm used to the Kansas team winning 55-43.
They're unstoppable in the video game.
I put Bean in there. The guy's played 14 years in
college.
He's
in the NFL,
Where is he at now? I watched their backup coming in. Ball. This isn't who Jalen Daniels is. 18-32, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
And there was a fumble in there.
Well, I don't see that happening again this week. This is going to be a high-scoring football game. UNLV's got talent on the offensive side of the football, and that go-go offense is absolutely detrimental to deal with. And I agree with you. If Kansas can stop the run, they'll have a very good chance to win this game. But Kansas's stars have to be stars. Jalen Daniels has to be Jalen Daniels. Devin Neal has to be Devin Neal. We know who you are. Trust me, I had to stop y'all guys 4 times out of the week in NCAA football because everyone plays with y'all. It sucks. Show up. I hope they do. But this UNLV team is nothing to mess around with.
And this is a massive game for UNLV after Texas State lost last night, too, because UNLV is one of these teams as we get further along in the season. Obviously, I've picked Memphis. Some people pick Boise. You look at that schedule, this UNLV team could sneak around and find a way to beat that group of 5 team that gets in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, no doubt. These 2 teams have combined for 1,200 yards of combined rushing in 2 games. UNLV, 699 rushing yards against Houston and Utah Tech. Kansas, 517 rushing yards against Illinois and Lindenwood. Like we talked about, though, Kansas, what hurt them against Illinois was the turnovers, the 3 interceptions. I think there was a fumble in there as well. So, look, can't turn the football over, can't have as many penalties as they've been having, and then can one of these defenses just say, hey, we are going to stop the run and force this other team to be one-dimensional? Talking about Texas State last night, Texas State did do that.
That's what was so impressive about Arizona State.
Texas State did say, hey, Scadaboo's not going to be the guy to beat us. Make Levitt throw the football and beat us. It just so happens that he did throw the football.
And if both teams stop the run, I don't know how you don't look and say, all right, I'll take Jalen.
Those are 2, that game from last, those are 2 good football
teams. They really were.
Those are we got to get, Texas State's a damn good football team, too. And that Jordan McLeod kid, who's apparently not good enough to come to Auburn, looked really good. Yeah.
All right, let's preview one that we haven't talked about this week. Backyard Brawl. Coming up on Saturday, Pittsburgh versus West Virginia.
And this is on me. I think we've done a disservice not talking about this game earlier because this is a great rivalry game.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It is a fantastic game. And you look at Pitt, a huge comeback win against Cincinnati last week.
They love you, Jay.
Was really, really exciting. Yeah, and listen, I got them going better than what I had last year, and I've got nothing against Narduzzi. I'm still pissed at Neil Brown at West Virginia.
That was
after
whatever that was.
That was, it's one thing to get beat. It's another thing to,
look unprepared.
Look unprepared and go puke out behind the bar halfway there. West Virginia looked awful. I didn't think they looked great last week either in a game. I think they should have won by more. I'm telling you boys right now, I know why this spread's been going down. I think Pitt may win this thing. You look at Pitt, their offensive coordinator, they brought, and I think Cade Bell is Kerwin Bell's son. It's gotta be. He was the offensive coordinator at Western Carolina, who's the head coach at Western Carolina. It's Kerwin Bell, that same Western Carolina team that gave NC State a run for their money. Cade was the offensive coordinator. Now he goes over to Pitt. The offense is a little bit more fun. Narduzzi, we know he's an old head when it comes to defense. This is going to be a fist fight, right? Typically, this game comes to mind. I think about bad weather, which we probably will have at some points this weekend. I think Pitt finds a way. Do they have better personnel overall than West Virginia? I don't think so, but I feel like Pitt finds a way to win this game. My key is can you get Garrett Green to make those detrimental mistakes that we saw against Penn State? Can you speed him up? That's when he gets in trouble, because he's one of those rhythm shooters.
Yeah.
That's who Garrett Green is. If he sees the first couple go in, he could rip you to shreds. But if it starts off bad, then he speeds up and he tries to force it. I think Narduzzi's going to try and trap him, and I'm not just talking about playing cover 2 to the boundary. I like Pitt to win this game, man. I really do.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, this game opened at 5.5. It's sitting at 2.5 now.
I'm telling you, man.
And there's got to be a reason for that. Look, I believe in Garrett Green. I think he's a damn good quarterback, and I think we saw that last year. But right now, I mean, I really like this Holstein kid for Pitt.
The Bama transfer.
Yeah, I mean, 635 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He looks calm. He looks cool. He looks collected. And he doesn't look like he's scared to make the mistake. And I think a lot of last year, you saw that at the Pittsburgh quarterback. And Pittsburgh always usually puts 11 guys on defense. 3 of them always find their way in the NFL.
Yep.
3 of them always do. They always have cats. They play hard on defense. I agree with you. I think a big key in this game is going to be, can Green be who he's supposed to be, and can Pittsburgh make him make a couple mistakes on defense? This game is at Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh might win this game.
Holstein was a great pickup for Pitt. I think he came in with that Dylan Lonergan kid at Alabama. They came in together. On the other side of that, for Garrett Green, get him going in the run game with his feet more. I mean, that's one of the things that we talked about all offseason with Garrett Green, is why we like West Virginia in this offense, because the more that they can run Q power, Q counter with him, I think the more it's going to be able to open up the passing game for him, where he's not going to be pressing throws so much, because you get more separation once you've been able to open up with the run game. So I'm going to take West Virginia still right now, but Pitt money line plus 110.
Not a bad bet.
Bad play.
Not a bad bet. Almost had him as one of my dogs. But the last time I saw it, I think it may have dropped back down to plus money, but it was minus 105 at one point when I saw it, so I didn't put it in my dog bets. But we all know tomorrow morning you're going to be waking up ready to rock and roll. But you got to get juiced and amped and dialed in and locked in. And how do people typically do that in America and across the world?
Ooh, pick me.
Flaming Dragon.
Ooh, pick me. Is it Black Rifle Coffee?
It's Black Rifle Coffee. We all know, regardless of the season, whether it's summer, whether it's fall, whether it's spring, you need that coffee. For me, to be honest with you, I think it's just a placebo effect at this point. That's what coaching for 10 years will do. But they got ready-to-drink cans as well. Man, maybe you ain't got time to brew coffee the old-fashioned way. This ain't Yellowstone, dog. We got stuff to do. There's cars driving around and everything. And their ready-drink coffee is perfect for people who need their coffee quickly. And they got some delicious flavors. Vanilla Bomb, salted caramel, mocha, and vanilla caramel. And Black Rifle Coffee is a veteran-founded coffee company that is operated by principled men and women who honor those who protect, defend, and support our country, and we need them now more than ever. And with every purchase you make, they give back. So save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com and use promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, at checkout for 10% off your one-time purchase or first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use that code BOOSTER for 10% off. You can find it in grocery stores, and that's great. But go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use that promo code BOOSTER, because we want to win the race. Which show can sell the most Black Rifle coffee with that promo code? You can help us do it. We help you win the water cooler. Let's win the coffee race. Let's get it, boys.
All right, let's go to the Jamin Man. What's up? He says, fellas, I just want to take a second. You put that thing down.
Yes.
You put that thing down.
No, David Smart.
Fellas, I just want to take a second to thank you. Put a stack on Arizona State last night.
Let's go.
You boys get it.
I tell you what, a lot of stuff gasses me up. Like I get, you know me, I'm easily excited. I'm an emotional guy. There are very few things that fire me up more than when people take our bets, especially squad rides, and we get big. I had a bunch of people that tailed me on the James Cook touchdown last night, and then a bunch of people tailed us on the Arizona State money line bet, and they hung on. There were some doubters.
No, we didn't
right,
waver.
Tennessee Aubie on Twitter. I saw you.
We didn't waver.
21-7. I get a reply under our show tweet. Said Arizona State's getting smashed right now. So it was long game, baby.
Long
4
game,
quarters.
4 quarters, 60 minutes. So let's figure this out.
Did he reply back after they won?
I just sent him the money emoji, and he was like, "Squad ride."
Squad ride. Let's go to Devin.aman1842. Probably messed up your last name, and I'm sorry, not sorry. As a K-State fan, I'm very worried about this game tonight. If K-State loses, do we have to give up the name Wildcats?
No, it's a big one. This is a big one. The battle of
That's why it's a non-conference match.
Do you remember that back and forth we had? Like, there were Kansas State fans who were like, "No, we did it first." And this Arizona fan was like, "Well, in 1911, a Wildcat was spotted in downtown Tucson." So, like, I'm just interested to see Avery Johnson, how much he throws tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see, because if that run game is working, he'll throw it 20 times, 22 times. That's fine, off play action, whatever. But again, how good is Kansas State in man coverage, which is what they want to play against this Arizona team? That's what I'm looking at. That's what I think is going to be the difference.
Let's go to Astro15. He says, guys, I don't know who this Arizona team is. Been a fan all my life. From week 1 to week 2, we were a completely different team. What should I expect tonight?
That's the biggest question, right? I mean, if you're Arizona, who are you? Like, what's in the box? We don't know yet. We can guess. But especially when it's on both ends of the spectrum. It's not like, well, we played okay on this one and then played okay on. No, we were really good on this side and really bad on the other. Then we just flipped it. Just totally flipped it. You could actually, if we want to be honest, say the same thing a little bit about Oregon with what we've seen, but not to the extreme with Arizona. Astro fan, I don't know, man. I can sit here and tell you, we told you what I think's going to happen, but it's truly throwing a dart right now on a map. So that's going to be one of the fascinating things about tonight.
Let's go to Bezo_5. What's up, brother? He says, guys, I'm really liking the UNLV boys tonight. Should I put a little cash on that money line?
I don't mind the money line bet. We feel like UNLV, again, has been more consistent in what they are and who they are. It's just, if the run game is stopped, can UNLV generate enough offense? Because at some point Kansas is going to hit. As good as UNLV is played on defense, and they've kind of made a little bit of a jump there, you know that as well as I do, at some point you're going to get hit. Can you score enough points or dictate the pace enough? And you can do that with the run game. That's one of the best side effects of it, to be able to limit that. Kind of like we talked about with Michigan and Texas a little bit. I don't think UNLV's they're confident. They went to Houston and beat their ass in the first week, and we saw what Houston did with Oklahoma, kind of going back and forth there. But to me, I would rather put money on UNLV than Arizona, if we're going to talk about dogs tonight. I do agree with that.
Okay, let's go to the BC Eagle, man. We got a Boston College fan in here. It's the first one I see. He says, guys, big one against Missouri this weekend. 16.5 is the spread. Do I lay the money with Boston College, or do y'all like Mizzou to cover?
I buy that up to plus 17.5 and take Boston College. I think that's a smarter bet. We did a full Boston College Missouri breakdown yesterday, David. Was it yesterday, or did we do that on Wednesday? I can't remember. It may have been Wednesday. Wednesday show or Thursday show, we did a full breakdown on there if you want to go check that out. It's going to be interesting. Castellanos, can you get creative without catastrophe?
And we have our Saturday special coming out actually tonight with Taylor Hicks. That game will be previewed as well, so everyone listen to that.
Let's go to Mr. MG. What's up, brother? He says, guys, Arizona fan here. I really like our odds against this Kansas State team. I watched the Tulane game. I do not trust this Kansas State secondary.
And you shouldn't with the way Mensah torched them. But like I said earlier, Kansas State plays different defensively at home. You're going to get your man coverage looks. Like I said, they both do it. It's what they want to do. Now, Arizona runs it more, technically, statistically, than what Kansas State does. But another thing, too, and everybody talks about the deep ball, and Flaming Dragon, you were right to bring that up. But it's yards after catch is a huge thing with this Arizona team, too. These are guys that are very good in space. McMillan is one of those guys. It's not just running the 9 route, not just running the post. He can take the slant, go score a touchdown. He can make a guy miss, got some wiggle. You can get him the jet sweep, whatever. Kansas State tackling in space and preventing that chunk play after a short throw is going to be huge in this game as well. So I as a fan, it's confidence is great, but I think we're going to find out a little bit more about who Arizona really is tonight. All right, last one.
It's going to smell my pits.
Nice.
That's so good. Says, Narduzzi is a defensive guy. I look to see us to make a couple plays on defense, big plays, and that'll be the difference in this game. Love the show, and go Pitt.
Yeah.
I feel like I agree with you. They do create chaos and havoc, whatever you want to call it. But special teams, I get the Pitts now.
the Pittsburgh fan. Special
played.
teams in this game. It's a backyard brawl. What typically separates it in rivalry games? Special teams does. And it's not just blocked punts. It's not just kickoff returns for a touchdown or field goals, right? It's field position, which is one of the 3 keys to winning a football game. So, all right, let's move on here, David. We got
Quickly, can I just get to one thing quickly?
Go ahead.
We got $2 donation from Chad Smith. Happy Friday, boys. He asked about the OU cover versus Tulane. We'll get to that, but Chad, I want to congratulate you on, I'm pretty sure someone just got their law degree.
Yeah, passed the bar exam.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sure one of us
did it.
Yeah, one of us will be calling you very soon, and we're going to get to the Auburn quarterback thing right after Locks, Leans, and Dogs, because it just got announced before that Hank Brown is going to be starting against New Mexico, at least according to sources from our buddy Justin Hoganson at On 3. But we got Locks, Leans, and Dogs, boys. Woo! Now, first week, really hot. Last week was drunk all over college football, right? It was hit or miss. Feel really good about this week, which I don't know what that's going to mean in the long run. But I'm going to go a game we haven't really talked about a lot. Old Dominion is hosting Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, Old Dominion played South Carolina close the first week, lost to East Carolina. At least they're just not playing somebody from Carolina. They get to play Virginia Tech, and they are hosting them. I don't know if Old Dominion can score a lot. Virginia Tech has been clunky on offense so far. Drones hasn't looked like he's taken that next step as a passer. I like the under in this game. I bought it up to 50.5 at minus 157. That's the Old Dominion Virginia Tech under 50.5 at minus 157. Then I could not talk myself into not putting Georgia as a lock. I just couldn't. I just couldn't.
I love it.
So I got it at minus 20.5. I don't want a 21-point win in a game that's determined by 7 3s and 4s to beat me. So give me Georgia minus 20.5. You can get that at minus 136 right now. And my leans. I like Boston College at 17.5. You can get that at minus 141. You're going to have to see who we pick to win that game in our Saturday selection show that drops tonight, actually. It's going to be Saturday in Hawaii, so don't scream at me. And then Alabama, minus 16 at Wisconsin. I told you I think it's going to be the ass beating of a lifetime. They're going to drown them in a small puddle of water. And then my dogs. All right. I don't know why we enjoy doing that so much.
It's because we're men.
That's probably right. Well, no, that is right. Memphis money line. That's
Love
right. I
it.
said it. Plus 210. Why not? Florida State's shown me nothing. Do we really know how elite this Memphis team can be with who they played so far? Well, we know who Seth Hennigan is. We know what they want to do, and they got some guys at the skill positions. Give me Memphis money line at plus 210. Then Colorado State money line. We haven't really even brought this game up. Colorado playing Colorado State. Remember last year, that was an incredible game. I like the over in this game as well. Probably going to be one of my Saturday sixes at over 57.5. But give me the Rams, even though they've looked like absolute cheek water this year, on the money line at plus 215 against Travis Hunter-Shadur and I guess the rest of Colorado's team.
I love every single one of your picks, except for probably Colorado State. I'm not touching, except I might take the over.
The over's probably the best
on that
bet,
one.
but
Let me get to my locks, even though I feel immediately uncomfortable now that I realize we're all going to take Georgia. Maybe we need.
Why does that make you uncomfortable? We all took Arizona State last night.
Did we all? Did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now I feel better about
There
it.
you go.
Thank you. One thing on the weather here, it's not just a specific location. There's storms all over the East Coast. Everybody be paying attention to that this week with that South Carolina LSU game. Ole Miss is going to Wake. Obviously, Georgia, Kentucky. There's going to be bad weather everywhere. So I'm paying special attention to that. But I do feel good about Georgia. Minus 22 points right now, minus 112. I'm even flirting around with buying it up just to get in the plus 20.
What can you get it at 23.5? Can you get plus money at 23.5?
Yes, it's like plus 105.
That's what I would. If I was going to buy it up, I'd buy it up a point and a half. than what you got.
I think that's what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do the same with Ole Miss. But for right now, for the locks, Ole Miss minus 20.5, and that's minus 120.
Why does this keep going down, David? Why does this number keep going down? Is it because the
Vegas wants us to win money?
Yeah, okay.
That's why.
Got those two kidnapped twins with their hair tied together.
Are you talking about the precogs? They were good in that movie, that Minority Report movie. I'm leaning Alabama minus 16. Let's go on the road. Let's really figure a lot of things out against Wisconsin. I think last week it said more about South Florida, but we'll find out soon enough on that. LSU minus 6.5. I'm leaning with Flamin' Dragon here on what you were saying earlier in the week. I think it could get, maybe it's tight early, maybe even tight for 3 quarters if the weather's bad, but I think LSU towards the end of that game really breaks down the doors, wins big, covers that spread. Money line, Memphis. Can we ride together on this?
Dude, let's ride into the, I'll ride with you into the midst of Avalon.
Memphis plus 215. I'm loving it right now. That would mean Florida State goes to 0-3. Unfathomable about a month ago. And then my other dog bet, Oregon State.
Wow. Do you think they win?
Beavers plus 550 winning the game outright. Maybe Oregon isn't what we thought they were. Or maybe they were, and we'll find out later. But right now, Oregon State money line.
It just reminds me of Austin Powers when he's in the casino and the one guy hits on 18 and gets a 3, and then they're like 6, and he's like, stay. He's like, I also like to live.
That's your boy.
I tell you what, I feel better about this slate than a long time, boys. And I'm going to roll with the ones who brought me here. All right, we're going to start off with them locks. And that's them Georgia Bulldogs minus 20.5. That's going off at minus 136. I don't know how you can watch that Kentucky-South Carolina game and not think the Dogs are going to come in and roll these boys. I don't care if it's at Lexington. I don't care if it's in Atlantis. I don't care if it's in the middle of New York.
Man, if they play in Atlantis, that'd be sweet.
You're in trouble. And then Ole Miss, Texas minus 33.5 against UTSA. Trust me, I've bet Texas the entire year. I told you last week, minus 6.5 Texas. Sorry, David. Versus Michigan was the best bet on the board. And when it comes to games like this, okay, sooner or later, Texas is going to bring in their 2s. Texas's 2s are better than UTSA's 1s, all right? So you don't have to worry about a late touchdown.
Arch Manning, baby.
Arch Manning, everyone wants to see him. Give me Texas minus 33.5. And another team I took last week, Ole Miss, minus 20.5. I'm going to get that down so I get that 21 point. Going off at minus 140. I think they could roll these kids easily. And a lot of people don't know this. Ole Miss is damn good on defense. They are damn good on defense, all like that. And give me Miami. Minus 36.5. I'm rolling with the big dogs this week. That's against Ball State at home. This will be a christening, a murder, a destruction, whatever adjective you want to use.
Saturday afternoon.
It's there. And then give me them dogs. All right? I'm rolling with them again. Tulane money line. Sooner or later, it's going to happen.
Is that an Oklahoma joke?
That's a plus 430. Oklahoma looked like Stephen Hawkins against Houston last week. And Tulane's a pretty damn good football team, all right? And then, I always want to be on these guys' side because I'd be afraid. Give me Air Force.
I looked at that one.
Line.
I stared that one down.
They're playing Baylor, who hasn't done anything the last couple of weeks. Daquan Finn does not look great. The Aranda era is over. This will be his last year at Baylor. So those are my dogs.
A christening, a murder, and a destruction.
What do you get when that happens?
Wow. I think that's how the earth was formed.
Good football Saturday.
All right, so if you're going to bet, we want to know your bets. Put them in the chat. Hit that subscribe button as well. But if you're going to bet responsibly. But you want to be responsible in general, all right? And if you're a general, you also want to be responsible. Well, you can with Responsible Man, the new multivitamin from here at the Daily Wire that is packed with 33 key ingredients that support your immune system. They sharpen your brain, and they keep your heart and muscles strong. We don't get all the vitamins we need. Let's be honest. There's like probably 2 of you right now listening that do. And congratulations. But for the rest of us, if you want a way to cheat the system without cheating your body, you need to check out Responsible Man. Plus, it's got a nice minty flavor. It doesn't taste like those other vitamins that feel like they pulled it out of an orc's smell like they pulled it out of an orc's armpit. This one smells good, tastes good, and
they got cool quotes on the bottom.
They got cool quotes on the bottom, too. And it's sourced right here in the USA. No cheap imports, no outsourcing, just good old-fashioned American quality, the kind of stuff that we love. And right now, you can take advantage of Responsible Man's fall sale and get 30% off your order plus an additional $9 off your first order. And our company made it, so buy it! And head over to responsibleman.com and use code BOOSTER at checkout. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Remember, boys, strong America needs strong men, and strong men start with Responsible Man. Feels really good to say that. That's responsibleman.com. Use code BOOSTER for 30% off plus $9 off your first order. Be the man your team needs you to be. Be the responsible man of the game. All right.
Nope. For the love of everything holy.
Hey.
Couple things.
Yes.
I hate you so
I love you so
God,
much.
I hate you. Will you please?
Hank Brown?
Hank Brown.
Okay. All right, before we get to calls, glad you brought this up.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
It surprised me. I thought Peyton Thorne would have a great week of practice like he always does. Apparently, he's the greatest practice player of all time. And he would start the first half against New Mexico, and if it went good, they would leave him in. If it went okay or bad, they'd put Hank Brown in. Well, apparently Hugh Freeze said, no, we're hitting the ejector seat. Hank Brown's going to start against New Mexico. Couple things. Multiple things can be true at once. One, this is a good thing. I think it shows you how bad the film really was when they watched it. And Peyton Thorne, like we tried to tell you literally after that game. Some people were like, well, a lot of it was the offensive line. And the offensive line wasn't great. Peyton Thorne was awful, right? You can't win with this guy, okay? And if this is the best you got, and we're going to find out, then Auburn's in big trouble for the rest of the year. Now, the weather, again, like it's going to be probably everywhere, is going to be great against New Mexico. New Mexico's awful on defense. Auburn should be able to run the ball and have a lot of success, which should help him out. We're going to find out if Hank Brown, when he gets his opportunity, is a guy that when the lights come on, because some guys are different in the game they are in practice, rises to the occasion, right? And it's a big moment for him. Or is it something where you're like, well, Auburn just really doesn't have a good quarterback on the roster, and it just is what it is, and you got to go make a decision in the transfer portal or hope a young guy figures it out behind either one of these two. But my gut tells me it's maybe a little bit better because, to be honest with you, Flamin' Dragon, I don't know how it could get much worse. I want to see how Hank Brown runs the ball. The biggest thing with a new guy getting in there is he realizes this is his moment, and he wants to go put his best foot forward. And it's a hard line to walk, but you can't force the action too much, right? You want to go out there and make big plays. And, hey, on this RPO, man, I may keep it. I may make my mind up and keep it. We're going to take a shot down the field. Don't do that. Operate the offense. But the main thing I want to see, right, outside of just playing well, is that he's not a panicker in the pocket. And, again, I have no personal animus toward Peyton Thorne, but I know when somebody is scared, you can see it in their eyes. And whether it was last year with Peyton Thorne or this year, when it doesn't go perfect, this guy gets scared and he panics. And I'm not saying he's a coward. He may be the first guy you want in a alley fight. I don't know. But when it comes to playing quarterback, he gets scared in the pocket when it's not perfect. Just look at his eyes and look how sped up he gets. Sam Levitt last night is a 19-year-old freshman that is more poised in the pocket than Peyton Thorne is as a fifth-year senior who's played in the Big Ten and the SEC. You either got that in you or you don't. We're going to find out if Hank Brown does. To all the Auburn fans, you should be excited that there's a change, but I don't know if you should expect that all of a sudden this guy's going to come in and be the chosen one. I hope he is, and he may look that way against New Mexico, but Auburn needs a little hope at that position, and I hope he can give it to him. What do you think, Fleming?
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to ask, what do you guys think? How do you guys think this will change things for Auburn in the quarterback run game, especially in the RPO?
Well, I don't think it'll change that much. Because is Hank Brown that much better of a runner than Peyton Thorne?
Or much worse?
Much worse?
Yeah, I don't think
Peyton Thorne look, Peyton Thorne didn't run it that much anyways. Like, he really didn't. Go back and watch the last game. He can't even get a 3rd and 2.
He did a good bit last year, though,
against Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can go point out one game, but and I've said this, when Hugh Freeze did not go get a transfer portal quarterback, there's a reason Peyton Thorne started this year, because he's looked the best in practice. And I know some guys are practice players, and I know some guys shine a little bit brighter when them game lights are on. But if you expect Hank Brown to come out here and fix all these problems and be the Messiah, he's not. You had a chance. The train's left the station, brother. You had a chance. And the thing about it is, I'm watching quarterbacks we said no to ball out on Saturday.
Or didn't have a major.
And how much do you want to win? Okay, because I guarantee if one of them boys walked down to Tuscaloosa, they'd find a damn major for him. They'd find him. And you missed the chance to get your guy. So now Auburn's going to go through a season, and we haven't even played anybody yet.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
think you're going to find out if Hank Brown's as good against New Mexico? I'm worried about the Georgias and the LSU.
Hell, I'm worried about Arkansas.
And the A&Ms. Like, the problem is not going to magically be fixed. Auburn's in for a rude awakening this year.
And that's most of the probability lies there. Maybe, just maybe, though, Hank Brown can rejuvenate the team enough around him where Auburn can play to a level that gives them a chance that you couldn't with Peyton Thorne.
And you don't have to be you don't have to be the hero if you're Hank.
No.
You don't. Just do your job.
Do your job. Make the routine plays routine.
Absolutely.
That's what you got to do. All right. Want to get to the phone lines here, David?
Let's get to calls. Let's start with Ray in Colorado. Ray, talk to us on this Flaming Dragon Friday.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Ray, what's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Not much. Just listening on you guys live for once, and figured I'd try to call in, so this is great.
Dude,
welcome home. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I always enjoy it. You guys are great.
Thank you.
So I'm actually going to the Broncos game this Sunday versus the Steelers, and one of the things that's been on my mind listening to you guys, speaking of SEC stadiums and, Auburn quarterbacks who got Bo Nix, love the guy. I hope he succeeds here. What's the big difference, would you say, or is there a big difference between like an SEC stadium atmosphere and an NFL stadium? Because I've never been to an SEC game. So I would love to go, but I'm just trying to understand that
I can't comment on this.
atmosphere
I've
difference.
never been to an NFL game.
I would say, to me, I if we're going to talk about like loud, there's a ton of NFL stadiums that are super loud, right? Just like there's a bunch of SEC stadiums and college football stadiums that are super loud. I think the difference isn't really in the sound level, the decibel level, but it's the feel of the game because of where you are, right? Like Denver is a huge city. Right. There's a ton of stuff to do. They got the Nuggets, right? You know, obviously you got the Broncos, you got the Rockies right there. You've got all type of stuff going on. At these college towns, like this is it. Like this is the event. Like it's one, so it just means I think a little bit more. And that's why I'd be very interested. I would love to go to a Bills game and see how much that compares to a college game or a Packers game. Because to me, that's kind of the closest you get. It's not L.A., it's not Dallas, it's not Denver. But I tell you what, man, I think you guys got a good one for the future in Bo Nix. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, we've talked to a lot. Obviously know him and his family really well. And I do want to say this, Ray. Yeah. If you see a bald guy with a goatee, all right, he's wearing one of those bucket hats, his name is Bart Heitch. And I know he is at that game. Tell him you said what's up and you watch Crain and Co. That's all I ask.
I'll tell you another thing is the band that kind of separates it.
The band. That's a good point.
The band separates it too, the college and the high school environment, honestly, from the professional level. But Ray, thanks for calling. Call in after you go to that game and let us know how it goes, all right?
Y'all got a good one in Bo Nix, man.
Yeah. He'll play better.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. All right, let's go to Garrett in St. Augustine, Florida. Garrett, what's up?
Beautiful place.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Garrett, what's up, buddy?
Hey, real quick, I wanted to get your early thoughts on, and y'all talked a lot about Steve Sarkisian as a play caller, and I agree he might be the best offensive play caller right now. I might take him over Lincoln Riley at the moment. But him versus Kirby Smart and that chess match on October 19th is going to be amazing to watch.
It is. That is going to be, from a mental and then the physical ability of the players, the best matchup probably we're going to get all year if they continue to play at the rate that we've seen. I don't know how you watch college football so far and don't say Georgia and Texas are probably in a tier of their own right now until we at least see Oregon and Ohio State and Bama. And we don't know. We got to see Ole Miss play somebody with a pulse, right? We're going to see that a little bit this weekend against Wake Forest. But I don't know how you get a better matchup, not only just because you got great head coaches, but one's an offensive guy and one's a defensive guy, right? So it's like the top of the top on each side. It's not like Sark and Lincoln going at each other and it's two offensive minds and those sides of the ball don't play each other. We're going to actually see what Steve Sarkisian does best against what Kirby Smart does best. I want to make sure and let everybody know there are offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, but we know this is Kirby's system defensively, which is Saban's system, which is Parcells' system, which is Belichick's system. And this is Sarkisian offensively, right, and his system going against each other, and you have elite players. The margin for error in this game, not only from a coaching standpoint, but from an on-the-field standpoint, is as slim as you can possibly get, I think, in high-level college football. I wouldn't give an advantage. That's how close it is. I don't think there's an advantage, dog. I really don't. I don't.
Right. I don't think there's a team in college football that can hold Texas under 30 points offense. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Kirby and Sark played in 2020, right?
Sark was the OC.
He was the OC
at Sark was the OC, and Kirby was the DC at Bama. Is that true?
I think Kirby was already head coach at Georgia.
Interesting. Go ahead, Garrett.
And then the last thing I wanted to say, because I know y'all are trying to run through this real quick, is I know October 12th is getting a lot of hype because of that lineup, and that's it's an excellent day. I will not be doing anything but sitting on my couch that day. But October 19th as well is just incredible. You got Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Miami, Louisville. You get Michigan at Illinois, Notre Dame at Georgia Tech. I mean,
Garrett, you had me at hello. You had me at hello.
Thanks,
I agree,
Garrett.
100%.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in. All right, let's stay in Florida and go to, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Chayton. Is that right?
What's up, boys?
What's up, man?
What's up?
We got it right again. Look at that, Cone.
Cone's good with the pronunciation.
There you go.
I'm not that good at reading.
Good.
He reads good.
Day this week.
Hey! There we go.
I'll hit level 25.
Congrats.
Mid-boss.
My question for you boys is, Peyton Thorne got benched. We're in the same kind of boat with kind of FSU. I'm an FSU fan. How quick do we pull DJU Saturday if it's not going good with Memphis and give Brock Glenn or the freshman Luke a shot at see what we can do building to the future?
Yeah, and I think the quarterback situations, which I know what you're comparing, the Auburn and Florida State quarterback situation, I actually think Florida State's worse up front on both sides of the ball than Auburn is, which obviously causes problems for the quarterback with the offensive line. At some point, and I think you're seeing this at Florida too, you just got to mix it up to mix it up. The other option may not have looked better, but you got to show the people that you're trying something, that you recognize the problem. Not only that, but you're willing to do what it takes to maybe see if this guy can rectify it. And that's a horrible position to be in. I do not envy either of those positions. And it's not that DJU has been the main problem, but he's been one of the main problems that Florida State has. And it's not like you can just replace your whole offensive line, right, as opposed to one position that we see every play that touches the ball at quarterback. But I think, and I want people to understand this too, I think a lot of it depends on how the guy on the other side is playing at quarterback as well. If Seth Hennigan's out there at Memphis and he's ripping y'all's ass to shreds and DJU is just playing okay, you may have to pull him then. And I'll use the Auburn example. Fernando Mendoza, who nobody knows who the hell that guy was, came over and played against Auburn, and what made it look even worse for Peyton Thorne was that he was balling with worse players. So a lot of it is circumstantial. I don't know if there's a number on it, if it's 2 drives, if it's 3 drives, if it's a quarter, if it's a half. But at some point, Mike is going to have to pull that trigger if it's going bad, just to try and do something different.
Correct. Yeah, because DJ can't even move in the pocket from what we've seen. I mean,
that's why that's why. And
but you know what you have to feel somewhat good about? At least you went and got somebody. At least you went and got somebody and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, and that's why during the offseason, and I went on a Florida State show, and look, most shows that are dedicated to a team, they're going to obviously try and find the most positive thing. They were telling me how good of a downhill runner DJU was. I was like, what the hell are y'all talking about? What do you mean? That he could just go forward? Congratulations. So does a four-wheeler, but it's not going to play quarterback at Florida State. So they act like DJU is this dual threat guy. No, he's not. DJU is not fast. He's not quick. He's big. That's it. So as far as like the running aspect of it too, it's just it can't be. He's not good enough runner to bail him out. That's the thing.
Thanks, Chayton.
Appreciate it, Chayton. Glad David got your name right.
Talk to you soon. All right, let's go to Chad in Louisiana. Chad, what's up?
Hey, but it's about to begin,
What's up, boys?
Chad,
What's up,
dude?
Oh, doing good. Just got through the storm, survived. Ready
There you go.
Good.
There you go.
We're all happy here.
Yeah, right. Hey, I guess an obligatory congratulations in his order for Flamin and for Jake to get a new starting quarterback.
Yes. It's pretty great things are happening. My wife's pregnant. We do a sports show for a living. Auburn's replacing their quarterback going into game 3. It's great.
Right. It's the small things. It's always a small thing.
It is.
So, talk about LSU. I listened to y'all's show on Wednesday, this morning, actually, the breakdown. And, I'm a realist coming into LSU football every year. I always expect the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with a plus 500 record by the end of the year.
Really? You're that down this early?
I
Chad?
wouldn't do it that much.
Well, the offense is just stale.
Well, here's I thought, at least, and we'll see, because the bad part about South Carolina is you're catching LSU at the worst time possible, like in between game 1 and game 7. Like that's when they're at their best, at least under Brian Kelly. You thought the offensive line would be so good that it would make everything easier getting Nussmeier, more reps and these new wide receivers you're bringing in. But you haven't been able to lean on that run game, right? And it's not just John Emery getting hurt, which is absolutely brutal for that guy after what he's been through. Yeah. But you guys aren't moving people the way I thought you would. Like we were talking about LSU having quite possibly the best offensive line in the country coming in this year.
Yeah,
and now your right tackle's out. The other Emery, I think, is out for this game. So it's made it clunky. It really has.
I think another thing, too, maybe, Chad, and you tell me what you think about this, maybe LSU fans think this offense is stale because they're comparing it to last year's offense. Or they still have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson in their mind from 2019. Well, I'll trade you offenses right now. Y'all can say that to Ann Arbor.
20 points against USC.
Yeah, I mean, well, is USC better on defense? Or are they not?
Yeah.
You know, and we'll find out more soon.
I like the pressure. I like the pressure we're getting on defensive line. I like that. The linebackers are doing a great job. The offense just reminds me of the Les Miles era, put it that way.
What do you think is it? Well, it's formationally it's different. But are you talking about the philosophy? You think they're too conservative? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't think y'all know who y'all are.
I know they only can do so much.
I just don't think y'all know. The thing about Les Miles knew who he was. Mm-hmm. You're going to get a lot of damn toss sweeps in this football game and a lot of downhill running. I don't think LSU knows who they are from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah. You think the same is true on defense with them moving Harold Perkins around so much?
Well, it's and I was talking with some people in the program. Here's where I think they screwed up with Harold Perkins. And I talked with Jim Nagy about this at SEC Media Days. Like, dude, you can't be a 215-pound pass rusher in the NFL. Either you should have put a lot of weight on him, right, and put his hand in the ground and said, all right, this is what we're going to turn you into. Or you should have put a little bit of weight on him and stuck him at Mike if he could see it and say, all right, this is who you are. I feel like you talk about the offense doesn't know who they are. I don't think they know who Harold Perkins is. And I know they're going to use him as a spy on Lenore Sellers, but at this point in his career, Harold Perkins should be a defined product. Yep. We should know who he is, right? Not only that, offenses should have to prepare for him in a way that they know who he is, so therefore you know what they're going to do. It just, how many times are we going to go fishing with Harold Perkins before we even know what the hell we're baiting the hook with? Mm-hmm. That's what I think the problem is. I know that Blake Baker knows that, and you do want to have versatility. I'm not saying that, but when a player has to be out there and he's thinking so much and he can't react, you are taking away Harold Perkins' best weapon away from him, and that's his ability to go out there and play fast, play physical, and make those plays like we saw him make against Arkansas. But at some point, man, you got to figure out what you are and what he is, and it just seems like LSU's dropped the ball on that, at least my opinion.
Appreciate it, Chad. Hey, you got a score prediction for this weekend?
It's going to be tight, probably 28-24 LSU.
Yeah, all right.
That sounds right.
All right, go Tigers.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Josh in Boise. Josh, how you feeling about Boise right now?
Hey, fellas, I'm feeling great about the Pac-12 expansion right now. Everybody else in Boise is feeling the same way.
Hey, well, Josh, it's funny. This hit me driving on the way to work today, and thank goodness it wasn't a train; it was a thought. I remember when the Pac-12 got blown up. We had Boise State fans calling in saying, "Don't pick up the phone." You remember that? They're like, if they call, don't pick up the phone. We don't want to go there. Now they're looking around at who else is at the party, and they're like, "All right. We'll go out to eat and have dinner." Now all of a sudden, y'all are getting married and you're not.
Girls were a little bit hotter than they thought that you'd be.
Yeah. So, are Boise State fans in general just like, hey, and not to ask you 9 questions, how worried are you about not knowing whether it's going to be a power conference or not, right? Is this just a better version of the Mountain West?
Yeah, you know what's funny? We're not worried. So this is one thing that I haven't heard from any of the national sports kind of commentators. The talk in Boise is that the reason why the Pac-12 is trying to form and get 8 teams together is because when the college football playoff format currently as we know it was formed, the Pac-12 had an automatic bid into it. And what everyone is saying in Boise is that if we get those 8 teams on a legal level, it's going to force the college football playoff committee to have to make one of us be able to get in, whether they like it or not. So that's why everyone's pretty excited about this.
Well, you might be right about getting in, but I don't know if that applies to the first round bye because, see, it's even better now that there's 4 Power 4 conferences because you have 4 first round byes. You can't have 5. So it would have to just go back to the 5th highest ranked conference would still get in as an automatic qualifier but not get a bye.
Well, what do you do with the group of 5 team then? So now we got 6 automatic bids. Here's what's going to happen. You want to know what's going to happen then? If it goes like this is going to be one feather in the cap of expanding the playoff. Is what it's going to be.
Exactly.
It's that we're going to go to 14 teams, and now we're going to get 6 automatic bids. And the first 4 teams, the top 4 power conferences out of the power 5 conferences, if that happens, they get a bye. That's what's going to end up happening.
We need to get Tim Brando on next week.
Right. And the kicker, you guys, is that for Boise State fans, right, getting a group of 5 bid feels like it's harder than getting a Pac-12 bid if there's only 8 teams in the Pac-12.
Well,
right? So we feel like we're actually closer to getting in.
Well, you're competing against more teams for a spot, like for that group of 5 spot. You're competing against everybody. Like in the SEC, correct, you're competing against 15 other teams. Boise's competing against a ton of other teams for one spot. So just by the pure math, then it makes it easier.
Which, funny enough, y'all might get it this year. Y'all are a good football team.
Hey,
man.
yeah, y'all going to win the Mountain West this year?
For sure we're going to win. In fact, I think we're going to go undefeated the rest of the way. Blaine, I wanted to ask you real quick. I went to the Oregon-Boise State game. I called in a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I went to that game. Unbelievable environment. I know that you asked me about the spread and if Boise was going to cover the spread. I know you also won $11,000 that weekend. Did you bet on Boise State against the
I had
spread?
a little money on Boise State to cover the spread. That's not the reason why I won $11,000, but I did take your advice, and I'm pretty sure I profited about it. It was like a $300 bet.
Yeah. No, just a $300 bet.
Appreciate it, Josh.
I have a problem.
Thanks for your perspective on that, man.
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Jan in Lubbock. Jan, what's up?
Jan!
Hey, boys. How are you?
What's up?
What is happening, Jan?
Well, I have to tell you, I, first of all, am recovered from my knee surgery.
Good.
Nice.
I want to thank Flaming Dragon for his inspirational speech.
There you go.
I listened to it, especially the first 2 weeks when I thought, I am so old, just put me out the pasture.
Well,
Jan,
Jan, you know dragons have healing powers.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe it now, full-heartedly. But I wanted to just say something quickly about sort of what I believe now are the true unsung heroes of sports who keep us happy on Saturdays. First, a specific shout-out to Dr. Jordan Simpson at Lubbock Sports Medicine and his team, and Spencer McComb at McComb's PT and Leveland Physical Therapy. They put me back together, and I may be your oldest listener. I'm 72.
Nice.
And I'm not gonna say I feel like 30, but I feel like 40 again.
Well, good,
and I
Jan.
have to tell you, I just go, all those doctors and physical therapists and trainers who keep these teams functioning, man, they're the unsung heroes.
You're
Because
right.
They
without
really
them,
are.
We wouldn't have the joy of a happy Saturday in the fall.
That's exactly
so
right.
That's who I really want to shout out to, but I feel fantastic. I can't say that Tech has exactly helped with my recovery, but I'm like Jake Crain says, one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But with Texas and the SEC, I can become a Texas fan again.
Hey, there you go, Jan. There you go. Glad you're feeling
so
better,
happy.
sweetie.
Thank you, Jan.
Definitely. Let's
God
hope Tech
bless you.
figures it out.
God bless you.
Well,
Talk to
you
you again
guys-
soon.
Oh, I love talking to you. And
Love
y'all
you,
take good
Jan.
care.
All right, Jan.
You as well, Jan. Love when she
Bye-bye.
calls in. All right, let's stay in Texas and go to Kyle. Kyle, what's up?
Boys, how we doing?
What's up, Kyle?
Hey, we're one day closer to Saturday, broski. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, real happy to hear that Jan's recovering well.
Yeah.
I'll make it quick. I'm still living off the high of Nebraska beating Colorado. Obviously, prayers up for Shiloh Sanders. I hope he recovers quickly. But real quick, I have a question for David, and then I have a question for Jake and Flaming Dragon. I have a daughter and a son, both like 3 and under, and my second son's going to be born in February. My son, he loves watching football. He loves watching Nebraska with me. And I just wanted to ask David, as a father, what's some advice that you can have for, fostering, the love of watching football, playing football? And then my second question I'll get to quickly. Jake and Blaine, or Flaming Dragon, excuse me, sorry. I hit the over now. But I wanted to ask you guys, I've been thinking for a while about possibly getting into coaching football on some level. I love the game. I was raised on Nebraska football. And just, I don't really know the best way to start, so I'd love to hear your guys' perspective on that.
Definitely.
Well, I'll just say, as far as good parenting advice, be present. Be present as much as you possibly can. That 0 to 4 range for your kids, that's a crucial time. And we need more fathers to be present. And ironically enough, my son Adam came into this world during a Nebraska football game. which I didn't care at all about
no
having it on
way.
the screen. My wife is laboring. She was laboring for 17 hours. She's like, you got to turn something on.
Yeah.
Just please turn one of the, it was week 0 game. You
Yeah.
know, like literally.
I remember.
it was
That's the most gangster.
Saturday
Darby
J-Boy
Lou is
show.
so gangster.
She said, turn one of
It's
the football
unbelievable.
games on, and Nebraska was playing. So, granted, that wasn't
way.
the Nebraska we're watching right now.
Yeah.
It was a far cry from watching Dylan Raiola go out there and hang 28 points up. But still, be present, Kyle, and congratulations on your family, man.
Yeah, Kyle, first off, congrats, buddy. Here's what I'll say. A lot of it depends on the level of coaching you're getting into, how serious you want to take it. I would say, you know, if it's middle school, if it's, you know, high school, that's when it really starts to, you got to know it and know it pretty well. But the best part about coaching, obviously outside of, you know, being around the guys and it's giving your time, right? Because a lot of people, you know, you talk about parenting, don't have a 2-parent household. Some players' fathers aren't around and things like that. So the most important thing you can give is your time. And we always talk about football being a great teacher of life. So a lot of it depends on the level you're getting in, but it's a lot of fun regardless. And it's probably more fun at the lower level, you know, especially when you having boys that are young and stuff like that. So it just depends on the level, really.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's quickly what I would add is most of the rewards when it comes to coaching football doesn't happen on the football field.
Yeah.
It's the relationships you build, to see kids overcome certain things in your life. And another thing, as being a coach, is being present. You know, in these kids' life just outside of football, man, it's a lot more than just a game.
Appreciate
Great
it, Kyle.
call, dude.
Great call, Kyle.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Good luck with
Guys,
everything.
have a
All
good one.
right, let's keep it rolling, y'all, as quick as we can here. We still got a lot of people on the line, but we do have a Pongo alert. This is Kobe in Virginia. Kobe, what's up?
Yes, I'm on. I've been.
Yeah, let's go. What's up, dude?
I'm going to rapid fire you guys. So
Let's go.
I hear you, I'm a big fan. I hear, you know, Will Howard, Avery Johnson coming up. Will Howard can throw the football. Turn on the Texas Tech from last year. The numbers, I think, are deceiving. They've struggled with wide receivers getting separation on the outside,
Which is
and
weird.
you're seeing again this year. Teams will continue to challenge K-State's pass game until you have a credible threat on the outside.
Yeah.
Yes, he does a great job of scrambling, extending the play, but you can't rely on that. And then second thing, you guys brought up DJ Giddens a few days ago. That guy's the real deal. I think he gets kind of lost in the shuffle because the Big 12 is so deep with running backs, but he's a fantastic back. He's a Kansas kid. Best thing about him, he just gets up from the huddle or from the play, whether it's a big play, small play, and he just trots back to the huddle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everything's the same with that guy. He just puts his head down and plays. Andy Koltanecki, I tried to warn you guys before the West Virginia game. That guy's the real deal.
No, he is.
What I want to say about him, there's a famous quote when K-State was in the process of vetting Bill Snyder. He was on the offensive staff at Iowa under Hayden Fry. And there's a famous quote from a defensive coach in the Big Ten when K-State was like, hey, should we hire this guy? And he said, hell yes, get him the F out of this conference. That is exactly what came up among K-State fans when Andy Koltanecki got that job at Penn State.
Well, and I do want to say this, Kobe. I wasn't as worried about Koltanecki being good. I didn't know if Drew Aller could drive the car that Koltanecki wanted him to drive as a thrower. That was the biggest thing for Penn State to me because we just hadn't seen that consistency down the field because this is Koltanecki don't go 6-7 plays without taking a shot. I mean, he's like an alcoholic at a bar. He can't go 20 minutes without taking a shot. So it was more about Drew Aller than it was about the system. And I think you're seeing that in Kansas right now. As far as the Avery Johnson and Will Howard thing, I'm not as worried about Will Howard right now as I am about the offensive line at Ohio State. That gives me more pause than anything. And Avery Johnson, I think he's going to continue to get better as a thrower. But you're right. If K-State is going to win the Big 12, they've got to be more balanced in how they're able to attack that 53 1/3 yards wide field, right? You can't just load everybody in the box and say, well, Avery can run it. We'll still get a hat on a hat. You're going to win a lot of games that way, but you're not going to win the games that you need to win against the teams you need to beat to win the Big 12 if you don't have at least some semblance of a threat on the outside that can take advantage of that vertical third.
Appreciate it, Kobe.
Oh, exactly. Like I said, one more thing. I just got to tell a story. So Blaine, I won't wreck your Tulane bet this week. So last week, Blaine took Tulane, right, against K-State and his dog. So K-State scored. It's 27-27 last week. I'm like, great, let's get a stop. So Tulane's driving down the field, right? So I'm like, oh, great, we're going to lose the lead. So I step outside. And Jake, do you remember when someone wrecked? You had like a 12-legger parlay last year, right? And
Oh,
was
yeah.
Like, my friend Jake got me. So I was like, you know what? I'm stepping outside. I tweet at Blaine, and I was like, hey, congrats on winning your money line bet against my Wildcats. I stepped back inside
Dude.
to see K-State an extra point after they got that.
Bro, it's a real thing.
You're the problem.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. Oh, no, he glitched the Matrix. That's what it is.
Dog.
No.
You sold my money down the river.
Hey, the timing. You can't make it up. It was incredible. But hey,
I swear to God, that happens all the time, dude.
You got to make up for that now somehow, Kobe.
Doing.
Hey,
All right,
Kobe,
thanks
call
for
in
calling
again, buddy.
man.
Glad you got in.
Appreciate it. Love it. All right, let's go to Armando in South Florida. Armando, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, guys. You can hear me?
Yeah,
buddy.
what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Love the show. First-time caller.
Let's go. Welcome home, buddy.
I got into an argument with my buddy yesterday about, Dolphins and Giants and all that. I'm a Giants fan. He's a Dolphins fan.
Okay.
He's telling me, your Giants suck. And I was like, look. For the past decade, I know they suck. But at least we have 2 rings this century. You guys are never going to win a ring this century.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, you can always fall back on that.
Well, this ain't 1972, buddy. That's what I would say. Yeah, it's, again, you've seen the mountaintop. That's what when people make fun of Auburn, that's what I always say. Like when somebody will say, not like Alabama or Georgia, some of you hadn't won a national championship in a long time. I'm like, listen, I could get hit by a train today, and I would still have watched my team go undefeated, win a national championship, win the Heisman Trophy, have the number 1 pick. You can't hurt me anymore. I'm dead inside, number 1. But you got it twice, and y'all beat the Patriots, dog. Like you got it, deep in the bag. So no, look, make Daniel Jones. Oh no, the Giants, they suck. Oh no, you've tasted the filet mignon.
Appreciate it, Armando.
Great call, dude. Appreciate it, bud.
Call in later in the season. All right, one more quickly. Devin in Illinois. Devin, what's up?
Hey, guys. You guys answered my question earlier in the chat. I'm the Wildcat fan. And I was really hoping for Blaine's take on it because I feel like he'd have a more fiery take.
What was the question again?
If K-State loses to Arizona, do we have to give up Wildcats?
Yeah, you do. You do have to give up. I mean, you're no longer. I mean, either you
just a house cat.
Either that or you're Wildcat Junior.
You're a house cat. You get your milk brought to you. You can't go out in the jungle and kill it.
Yeah, don't bring up Brian.
So how about Auburn and Missouri this year?
Huh?
You want to play for the Tiger mascot?
No, that doesn't
Y'all
count.
are the War Eagles.
Missouri hadn't won anything important.
David.
You are the War Eagles.
You have to win something important. I mean, David, who do you go for?
I think,
Alabama.
Look, hey, you know what?
This must be tough.
Talking about having seen
must be
college
tough.
football stopped for me last year.
Yeah.
Hey,
you go for Alabama
Devin.
and Michigan.
Hey, Devin, you want a fiery take? You want one? You really want one?
Yeah.
All right, play the motivational music.
Oh, God.
Play it. Play it, Justin.
Bumpy one.
Hit the whatever scientific button to play it. All right. He's the real Wildcat. All right, are we going to play the music or I'm going to look like an idiot just standing right here? Okay. All right. Arizona, Kansas State. Wildcat versus Wildcat. It's a good old-fashioned jungle fight, baby.
No.
Now, David, that's unbelievably concerning and scary. But back to the point. We've got arguments. Who started it? Who should be the Wildcat?
You did!
Who shouldn't be the Wildcat? Oh, it's Arizona. Oh, it's Kansas State. Guess what? Tonight we find out. I am calling tonight's game the battle for the Wildcat helm.
Wildcat fever.
All right? Whoever wins this game tonight will now officially be the one that was the Wildcat first. Is it historically correct? Who cares? History's written by the victors. Read a book. And tonight, the victor of this game, whether thine be in Kansas, Manhattan, or thou be out in Arizona, in Tucson. We'll find out. House cat, Wildcat. Scared about that life. Mama bear, Papa bear. Together.
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel.
And entering.
Eat the candy. There you go.
Eat the candy.
Appreciate
there
it,
it is,
Devin.
man.
Great call-ins today, y'all. Great call-ins. Anybody else on the line, please call in next week.
All right, let's get to bets.
Bets.
First.
Bet.
Yes, good. Thank you. David, you've been so good reminding me of that.
Y'all did so good.
Hey.
You did
quiet.
so good today.
Bets.
We're all so proud of
Bets.
you.
All right, first, Arizona State, plus money.
Look at me while you're talking about bets.
Nope, not doing it. But largest lead, that's the first time that bet hasn't hit all year.
Yeah.
All year. That's okay.
Talked about it too much.
Tonight, I think Kansas State will take the Wildcat mantle. Give me Kansas State minus 6.5 at minus 128. Then I know I talked about the run game in UNLV. I think Kansas may put up a crooked number tonight, boys. I like the over 57.5. That's at minus 108. The money is on the under at minus 112. But I don't follow the money, Diesel.
What do you follow?
My heart.
Your heart and your gut. Yeah. Be quiet over there. Stop talking. You take your loss, okay? I got spoiled last night watching a great football game. Close football game down to the wire. I want to see the same thing tonight in both ball games. Give me UNLV plus 10.5, minus 134, and then Arizona plus 7.5. Put the hook on it, minus 125.
All right, bring my bets up here. I'm rolling with the overs, boys. I'm rooting for points today. Give me UNLV, Kansas, over 57.5, going off at minus 110. AZ, Arizona, Kansas State. Shout out AZ. Over 60.5. That's going off at minus 115. It's a Friday.
Ace.
What do you want on Friday? You want points.
Ace. He's going, wow. He's going Arizona money line plus 220 and the under in the UNLV Kansas game.
Wow. What's he thinking?
At minus 112.
Boo this man.
I knew he'd go to the dark side eventually. Next thing you know, he's be walking around with a Buckeye outfit on, David.
No.
All right. Going to get to the donos. And then we're going to talk about how me and David absolutely crushed this under today. I'm so super jacked and tan about it.
Y'all did pretty good. My screen is frozen at the moment.
Unfreeze it.
Let's do this. It's not working. All right, well, I can get to these. I'm going to get to all of them. Just let me make sure I can load. Let's go to a $20 donation from RJ. Appreciate it. Jake, David, and the Don himself, Flaming Dragon. What's up, buddy? Y'all are coaching defense in 2024. Who would be more dangerous to go up against? An 08 NC Urban Meyer at the U or prime Chip Kelly at USC?
I think Urban Meyer, because he would recruit better players regardless of what mistakes they've made in their past.
Yeah.
Let's go to a $5 donation from the A-Man. I wasn't able to say this on the call, but shout out to my dad. Cowboys suck. Jerry Jones isn't going to let them win a ring this century.
That's deep.
That is deep.
That's deep.
That is deep. I love it.
Okay, y'all talk amongst yourselves while I figure this out.
What's going on over there?
I'm frozen over here, you know.
All right.
Who's dealing with life?
All right, Elza. Let's play that graphic.
No.
Yeah, that's right. Play it. The under hit.
We are flaming dragon.
Dang it!
Yes. Whatever.
Yeah, we are dragon.
It's not going to hit as much because one at the end of the show. All right, let's go. Finally, I got it up, boys. We can run through this. Oh, God. $100 donation.
$100 dono?
$100 donation.
Hold on.
All right, we retire. Forget Tua. I'm out of here.
From Cameron Francis. Fellas, we got another one. Pass the bar on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Listen to you, boys in Shapiro, every day. Thanks for the help. And no, we here in Idaho don't eat steak with ketchup despite popular belief. Go you.
Cameron, first off, thank you, buddy. That money will be put to a very, very good use, I can promise you. And congratulations on passing the bar. I like when my friends are lawyers,
We should
David.
never get in legal trouble with this group
I
here.
like when my friends...
Go Utah.
Not only that, we got Chad Smith past his, Cameron passed his, and Mr. Whiskers is sitting in the bullpen ready to come in and just throw the hammer down.
Talk about dream team.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to a $2 donation from Alan Drake. Appreciate it, Alan. Don't see anything under that. $2 donation from Tim T. Appreciate it. Hanky Panky time. War Eagle.
Yeah.
$10 donation from another one from Tim. Jake, say Blaine's government name, and I'll buy you a croissant.
No.
A croissant? That's a French joke. It's not worth it. Plus, we already played the graphic.
Blaine! $5 donation from Larry. Wait, that should count, Logan.
No, it doesn't. We played the graphic. Played the graphic. Read the rule book.
Yeah, I'll get Vic Diesel on the line. Let's go to a $5 donation from Larry. Appreciate it, Larry. How does South Florida get back to winning?
Well, you got to be able to throw the ball at some point, but you guys are going to win a lot of games this year. I would be more worried about holding on to goalish than anything.
Don't schedule Alabama.
$5 donation from Son of Man. You can't say that Daniels has the worst slide until you look up an old clip from Eli trying to slide.
Yeah.
It's like a seal slipping on a wet rock.
No, Eli looks like somebody that got surprisingly shot in public. Like the way they fall. It's just like not even close.
$5 donation from Blake Kraft. What's up, Blake? How we feel about McMillan over 106 receiving yards for Arizona and Neal for Kansas over 102 rushing parlay tonight. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. McMillan's balls in big moments.
All right, let's go to a $2 donation from Thick, Wet, Juicy, Voluptuous. I can't see what that last word is.
Isn't that who Shannon Sharp was hanging out with on IG Live the other day?
Can Blaine give a Hank Brown motivational speech? I don't know if you. Yeah, it'll be pretty quick. Just don't F it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throw it to our team.
Yeah.
Let's go to
simple.
$20 donation from Binks Majinks. Appreciate it, Binks. Not catching this live, but Pitt alum going to my first backyard brawl.
Yes.
Can I get some keys to victory? Jake, if you swallow your hate for Pitt and give us a motivational speech.
I don't hate them.
If you swallow your hate for Pitt, which we all know you hate, give us a motivational speech. I'll drop a $50 dono on Monday.
He already picked them. Rewind it.
Yeah, but play it again. I'll pick them again. I've got no problem with Pitt. Hell, Pittsnoggle's one of my favorite players.
Going
play
long
it.
today.
Play it. Here we go. Let's do it quickly. I don't hate Pitt. Okay? Will y'all get over it? I picked you guys to go 3-9 last year, or whatever it was, and you did. All right? I have no personal animus. I like Narduzzi. He's a defensive guy. He's got a cool-ass name. He wears old-school glasses.
Yeah.
And y'all run a fun offense now. I picked you guys to win. It's a backyard brawl, one of the most underrated rivalries there is. You got to protect the home turf, right? Hundreds of years ago, they used to send guardians, men, in the city to protect it when a war was coming and an army was coming to the gates. This is who you are. Protect where you are, the women and children and everybody else, the feeble people, the handicapped, the disabled, the blind, the deaf, the mute, the hairless, the alopecians. I don't hate you, Pick.
Old Helen Yeller.
Old Kellen Yeller.
You did good, Coach.
You said the feeble people.
Good, Coach. All right, $2 donation. Another one from Thick, Wet, Juicy, Voluptuous. I found out what the last word was, and I'm not saying it. It says, no, Blaine. Hank for Heisman, guaranteed.
So the handle wasn't just a bunch of adjectives? It
No, there's an
landed somewhere?
Okay. Of course there is.
It rhymes with blipples. $5 donation from Pokey Texan. Flaming Dragon says you have me phone blocked. I don't know what that means. You tell
phone blocked?
You tell me the feels if Ags go into the swamp is harder atmosphere than it is games was in Kyle Field.
Nah, that's close.
Maybe y'all invite me to both. I can figure it out.
That's a good.
I'd rather have the better team.
Yeah, me too.
Give me the better team.
Yeah.
$2 donation from Colston. Appreciate it, Colston. Kent State won't have a football team after Saturday.
Talking about Tennessee.
Yeah. $2 donation from Mal Page. He says, did y'all discuss Notre Dame Purdue?
Dude, I saw a video of a train hit an 18-wheeler, and I was like, God, is this a sign?
What videos you watching?
Dude, I don't know. I'm weird on trains.
What algorithm?
I don't know. I'm weird on trains today.
Funny,
we talked about it a little bit earlier in the
trains?
week. Riley Leonard's.
Was it was it hit by an Irishman?
Huh?
Ooh, was an
I couldn't
Irishman
see
involved
the conductor.
Was the Irishman involved in the train?
I need to know.
Stop trying.
And are you Irish?
I know what you're trying to do. This ain't Northwestern, buddy.
All right, $2 donation for another one from Pokey. Appreciate it. Addition, Tulsa can score, but can they win?
I don't know, but I do know what Tulsa is spelled backwards.
We all do. $5 donation from Hacking 101 YT, local Mobilian here.
Yeah.
How have y'all not talked about South's game last night? I was there, and it was electric.
Well,
they
put
ran
up
out of
87.
the most points ever scored.
They had 5-minute third quarters. So we asked quickly. I know we got to do the pull and wrap here, but my wife has a parlay for Thursday night games and Friday night games, and she got everyone right last night except for Northwestern State plus 36.5. But since they shortened the quarters, it voided that, so her parlay is still alive. It still let her hit the over in that game of 59.5. So remember we were talking about that with the first week? Like it voided bets. I think they're trying to figure it out as they go. But I think they had a 5-minute third quarter.
So let me get this straight. South Alabama scored 89 points last night. 87 with a 5-minute third quarter.
I think
you can't play football anymore.
No,
that other team's got to do.
That's what I said about Pine Bluff.
You can't play football. It's week 3.
It's time to focus on computers.
Week 3.
Player
right
safety.
Here with Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah, players. Hell, I know Bishop Sycamore would have gave
$20 donation from Blake Crabb. Appreciate it. Blake says, "Are we Auburn are deficient outside of QB to not be a decent team?" I hear folks say Thorne isn't the only issue. While I don't think we are Georgia, I think we have talent enough to win games with a game manager, a.k.a. Hank.
Offensive line's just okay. Secondary is very, very average. But the main problem has been at quarterback. But there is other problems, like I just
mentioned. $5 donation from Ryan. He says, I believe in Neil Brown and Green and bought West Virginia up to -6.5 at plus 190. This is a great rivalry and looking forward to seeing Pitt fans cry. # eat poop Pitt. I'll put poop in there. He said it bad.
So it rhymes.
Yeah, see what I'm doing there. All right, $5 donation from Angelo, who says, It's being reported they voided South Alabama bets because of the second half mercy rule.
Yep.
How do you approach this moving forward?
You just
go listen to my Get Off My Lawn.
With a gun. Yeah, with a gun and a smile.
$5 donation from David's favorite humping badger. If Wisconsin loses to Bama this Saturday, I will lock myself back up in David Cohn's basement and take all of my outdoor privileges forever.
Plot twist, he never got out.
He's dead.
All right, I believe you have one more donation. That's a $2 donation from the Thick Wet Juicy Boy. He says, level of concern for AU and New Mexico this week.
A lot. Yeah, like every week.
Code red.
Yes.
Can Jack Anderson come scream in a courtroom?
Yeah. Can somebody get pissed and say he's going to go back to work?
I had them as my lock again.
$5 donation from Darn Good Dog. How much does Vicky Diesel charge per hour? And is there a happy ending? Look, man, you go get him 2 number 4s from McDonald's and a large Coke, buddy, you can have him there all night. All night. $2 donation from Crooked Wiener. This is going off the rails. Alshon should start. Much better in the pass pro.
Oh,
I can't take your question seriously when that's your name.
Which side do you lay? You left or right guy?
What a fantastic week of shows.
Will Hank Brown be better than Peyton Thorne? Yes, no, doesn't matter. We're cooked.
Watch this.
You had to put a third one. That messes the whole thing up.
Watch this. Yes, 71%.
Okay, so it's will Hank Brown be better? Yes, no.
It's going to be yes, we're cooked, and then no.
No, we're cooked. 50%.
No, 16%.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. We're cooked. 36%. Yes. 48.
Okay. We believe.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. We're going to find out. Hey, we appreciate you guys, everybody that called in, everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out Bet Online, Black Rifle Coffee, Responsible Man. And like the chances of me not being super excited to go watch some Friday night foosball.
Foosball. Go watch a high school game. Go watch a high school game.
Go on in, you missed. What a great way to end the show. How did I catch that? Did you see that?
I don't know. How did
I'm hanging by a moment.